Hello and welcome to Run Testers. My name's Nick and this is our review of the Beats Solo Buds. So the Solo Buds are some new in-ear buds from Beats that are the cheapest buds in their range. They cost £79.99 or dollars, which puts them beneath the Studio Buds and the Studio Buds Plus as the cheapest option within the Beats range. They come in four colours. There's this purple colour and also black, red and grey. They are small in-ear buds with a button on both of them to control playback and other things. You get the usual ear tips in the case, so you get extra small, small, medium and large to try and customise your fit, but you do not get a charging cable in the case. That's important to note. You have to provide your own one, which is a USB-C charging cable. You have a tiny case for the buds. It's Beats' smallest yet, but it's not a battery, so this doesn't recharge the case. The buds themselves, though, will last a hefty 18 hours on a charge, which is pretty impressive, and you can actually charge the case from a phone or a tablet if you do have the right cable, obviously. A 5-minute charge will net you an hour of playback in a pinch. One big caveat with these buds, we're going to say straight away, is they don't have an official IP rating. Now, in general, we look for an IP rating of IPX4 as a minimum for running headphones to guarantee some sweat and water resistance. These are marketed as pretty much all-rounder buds that people are using for workouts and that kind of thing, and I'm sure they've gone through some testing to ensure they are pretty durable on that front, but you don't get that official IP rating for peace of mind, which is a bit of a shame. Overall, though, the aim is to create some cheap, entry-level Beats buds that people can use for a bit of everything in their life. They're nice and small, plug-and-play, easy-to-use buds, but they don't have some of the frills and impressive features you get on the buds higher up the Beats range.
For me, the fit on the Solo Buds was really good and the comfort I thought was fine. I've run up to 90 minutes in them and I've sat editing for a few hours or more, all in relative comfort. A big part of that boils down to the fact that the Solo Buds are tiny and compact, I think more compact compared to other kind of in-ear buds. That also means there's absolutely no tugging from the main bud unit. Now, I didn't really have to fiddle at all once I put them in my ears. They locked in and they stayed put. I had no signs of them shaking loose on the move or on the run. Now, one caveat to that, I do have very accommodating ears for in-ear buds, though I tend to get on with most in-ears relatively well. That's a big benefit of having these big old lugs.
When it comes to the fit, I had a surprisingly good fit with the Beats Solo Buds. I do tend to struggle with in-ear buds like this that just tend to squirm loose during runs for me. I don't really have the right shape of ear, or my ears are just too small or something, I don't know, but I did struggle in the past with the Studio Buds, for example, but with the smallest ear tip on the Solo Buds, they did stay in my ears pretty comfortably for the entirety of all my runs. I've done pretty long runs in over 90 minutes with the buds, used them throughout the day, and the fit is comfortable, and it has been secure for me on the run. I think it's mainly just down to the fact they are so lightweight. They just sit on the ear and don't really bounce loose or anything like that. So yeah, fits very good for me actually, I'd say. Really comfortable and secure enough for running. I think the design is pretty nice of the buds. I really like the case, how small it is. It's very pocketable, very easy to take with you on the run, either in a pair of shorts or in a backpack or anything else really. It's a very small case, fun to play with, a good size to play with as well. Buds themselves, I think, are well designed. They do sit in the ear comfortably, like I say. All around, they're pretty similar to what we've seen from Beats before, but yeah, it is a nice design all round. The lack of an IP rating is a bit of a killer, I think, for running in particular, just because if you're going to go out and do sweaty runs and workouts in the rain, you always have that little bit of a worry. I mean, I have done a lot of sweaty workouts with these headphones, not just running, but also indoor cycling, other workouts like that. I've been out in the rain in them. I don't really have any real concerns with them, but you don't have that IP rating, and it is pretty much par for the course to get an IP rating of around IPX4 for headphones these days. So it's a surprise you haven't got it here on the Solo Buds when you do have it in other Beats and Apple headphones. I haven't been that impressed by the controls, I have to say. Like the button, it works, but it's slightly sticky and doesn't really compress very easily, I found. So you've got to press it pretty hard to actually activate the button, which also means you're pushing the headphone into your ear, which is not the most comfortable thing to do with in-ear buds. And also it's really hard to do like the multiple taps in a row because of the stickiness of that button. So yeah, I think Beats have got better, more kind of tactile and clickable buttons on their other headphones. I found it just a little bit sticky, the one on the Beats Solo Buds.
Now you can see that Beats went for streamlined, compact simplicity here with the Solo Buds, and I'm a big fan of just how small and neat they are. There's something pleasingly basic about the whole setup here. The controls are very basic, which is a good thing in most cases, with physical buttons for simple functions like pause, play, skip and back. I just wish that there was a little bump on the B button to make it easier to find that button when you're on the move. I also had a little bit of troubling when it came to hitting the kind of 3 quick taps to skip back a track. I couldn't quite do it fast enough and I found myself, it was logging 2 taps instead of 3. But in general, I found the buttons nicely responsive and the buds don't jog free when you're pressing them. There's none of that thing that happens with buds sometimes. If they're unresponsive and you keep tapping them, you wiggle the buds free. But because of the basic controls, you will need to choose between summoning Siri or volume controls. You can't have both, but otherwise you're using your phone or paired device for the volume controls. It'd be better to maybe have these controls split across the buds. That does make things a little bit more complicated, but yeah, you are got limited on some of the functions. Other design notes, I'm a big fan of the tiny case. It's about as light and compact and portable as it gets. Though I would, as ever, I'm always asking for like a little hook to clip it into my running belt or bag, so I know it's going to be secure over the long haul. And it's also a shame that the case doesn't charge, though it is quite handy that you can charge off your phone via USB should you really need to if you've got the case. I also found the lack of light on the case to indicate that this is charging a little frustrating, but again I can see that's because Beats have stripped things right back here. You know, there is a sort of no frills feel to these. One thing I'm less forgiving about on that front though is the lack of IP rating. That is a real shame, as it kind of limits the types of workouts and training you'd want to risk. Now, I have run a few sweaty runs and had no trouble so far, but that lack of durability stamp I think leaves you feeling like you're running the gauntlet a bit. And I'd argue it's kind of table stakes these days for headphones to have a basic level of sweat and water protection that comes with an IP rated stamp. That's whether they're designed for regular or for fitness use. I think, you know, we all want our headphones to do a bit of crossover now. Battery life then, and as mentioned, the Solo Buds case isn't a charging case, so all the juice is held on the buds, and on paper you're supposed to get 18 hours runtime. In terms of earbud staying power, having 18 hours is kind of streets ahead of most rivals, what they give you just on the buds. Only the Jabra Elite 8 Active get close with 14 hours on the buds, but without the extra juice in the case, the total case plus buds runtime falls way short of the rivals here. And many are closer to 30 hours. Some like the Jabra Elite 8 Active Gen 2 stretch beyond 40 hours now. However, 18 hours overall is still pretty good for battery life on a set of compact buds like this at this price. And in my tests, I found that a 1 hour run burned an average of 4%, so I'd expect to maybe even get a little bit more than the 18 hours listed on paper, depending on how you're using the volume. If you're training an hour a day, I reckon you could be looking at you charging these about twice a month. It'll also be pretty handy that you can charge them from your phone if you're on the move and you really need to, but that's only if you own an iPhone 15 or later.
Battery life. So 18 hours is very good given the size of the buds. They themselves offer fantastic battery life, and that's going to see you through, you know, a full week of workouts or 2 weeks of workouts pretty comfortably, depending on if you're then using the buds for everything else in your day, obviously. The fact that the case isn't a charger is a shame, but I do love how small the case is, so that is the trade-off you kind of have here. It's a really lightweight and small case, very, very portable and all that, and the fact that the buds last so long means that I'm prepared to forgive them. That's longer than, you know, you're going to get for most kind of over-ear hook style buds like bone conduction headphones or open headphones, which also don't charge in their case for the most part. So actually I think the battery life is very good, especially given the all-round size of the package you have here. Not having a cable with the buds, you know, I don't mind that, but I think it probably should be an option. Like, I mean, I have lots of cables, so I'd happily order the buds without another cable in my life, but if you don't have a cable, you then have to buy another one, and that's a shame with a product that's obviously aimed at, you know, quite budget conscious consumers. Sound quality, I would say, is solid and about what you expect for £80. Like, there definitely is a step up in quality if you look at buds that are more in the kind of £120 to £150 range, or other Beats headphones. Got quite brash sound, I'd say, with the Solo buds. Like, you know, it's good, it's enjoyable still, it's definitely pretty good sound and nothing I'd worry about, especially for the price, but you certainly get, I think, a little bit of kind of congestion and compression with if you have really busy tracks at the higher ranges, it all gets a little bit busy and, like I say, a little brash. It's not exactly distorted or tinny, anything like that, but it doesn't sound as kind of clear as you get with other headphones, and they lack a bit of depth and kind of power, I'd say, compared to more expensive headphones. Like, same time I was testing something like the Jabra Elite 8 Active Gen 2, which are obviously over double the price, but you get a load more kind of depth and power to the bass. It's a much more atmospheric sound all round with those headphones, and actually dropping down the Jabra range or the Beats range, you're going to get pretty good sound. That's a step up on this, I'd say, for more like £120 or even £150. So I'd say the sound's about in line with their price. I think you can actually get better sound at this price. I think something like the Jabra Elite 3, for example, which are exactly the same price on RRP, have, I think, a little bit better sound, but it's pretty good all round. It's certainly powerful enough to motivate you during workouts. It's loud enough. I enjoyed it. I've listened to a lot of Dua Lipa lately, and obviously that's very, you know, big, bassy, busy music, and it all came across fine on these headphones, and they're enjoyable to use outside of workouts as well. But obviously there is a certain element of you get what you pay for on sound quality. It's good enough for me, but if you're someone who's very into sound quality and that kind of thing, you will notice a step down from more expensive headphones for sure.
Now, I say this in all our headphone reviews, but I'll repeat it here. I'm no audiophile. These big old ears are not really golden ears when it comes to sound, so I'm not connoisseur fussy when it comes to the audio quality of my running headphones. I like it full, rich, balanced, with good bass that's not overbaked, and a top volume that has the power to deliver a big motivational kick in the pants. If it can basically drown out gym grunts and commuter hubbub, I'm generally happy. Now the Beats Solo Bud tick those boxes. For the size of the buds and that sub 80 price tag, they kick out competent, competitive sound. Can you find better sound? Absolutely. Will most runners find them lacking? I don't really think so. Now some people might miss audio features like custom EQ, active noise cancellation, the awareness modes. Those aren't here. But when it comes to isolation, I actually found the seal on the buds pretty good. They did a great job of cutting out the world around passively, just because I get a good seal from the buds, without that battery draining need for ANC. Though that benefit obviously has the converse result on situational awareness, where you don't hear too much coming in. Now, I'm not a big user of hear-through modes, but if you are, you might miss that here. There's also no custom EQ or saving personalised sound profiles. This is about plug-and-play simplicity. It's kind of get what you're given territory here. Verdict then, I really enjoyed using these in testing. Yes, there are a lot of features, tools and tricks missing when you compare them to the likes of the pricier Jabra Elite or things like the AirPods, AirPods Pro, those kind of higher end headphones. Even some cheaper end headphones from the likes of JLab or JBL, or the first gen Nothing Ear One, probably offer more bells and whistles on balance. But on the whole, I don't mind that Beats have gone with simplicity here, and what the Solo Buds set out to do, they actually do really quite well. There's a happy, compact simplicity paired with comparatively decent sound, really great fit, and pretty good staying power from the battery that will cover the training and racing needs of most runners. For me, that makes a solid package for the sub 80 price. If you're not fussed about all those extras like ANC and custom EQ, I think the Beats Solo Buds represent decent value.
The verdict is, I do really like the Beats Solo Buds. I think the design is really nice. It's a very small case. It's very easy to use the headphones. You just pop them in. They play music pretty well. The fit is nice and comfortable. The battery life's pretty impressive. It's a good little package at a good price, I would say. You are missing features here compared to more expensive headphones, but it's less that I'm worried about and more kind of the competition even in the area around the Beats Solo Buds. So there is the Jabra Elite 3. Now, I think Jabra has said it stopped making consumer headphones from now on, but they will be supporting their headphones that exist already, and the app is already out there, obviously. And those are fantastic headphones that are also small in-ear buds. They've got shorter battery life on the buds, but better battery life with the case. You've got better sound quality. You have a transparency mode, which does make a difference when you're running sometimes to be able to hear the sound around you. And they come at exactly the same price and are actually often available for a lot less in sales these days because they're slightly older headphones. They also have an IP55 waterproof rating, so you're not going to have to worry about that at all, which you obviously do have that worry with the Beats. And another really good budget set of in-ear buds I've tried and really like is the Tribit Flybuds 3, which kind of one of those headphones you see on Amazon and you're not really sure about, but I have tested them and they're fantastic. You get a massive amount of battery life because the case is, I think, quite chunky, but it does pack in, a lot of battery life, and the buds themselves last a decent amount of time. Got a good fit, comfortable fit. There's some wings options with those headphones to give you a slightly more reliable fit than just the in-ear fit. Sound quality is pretty good. IPX8 waterproof rating, so again, big step up on what you have from Beats here, which is no IP rating. So I do think there are more competitive options out there. You certainly can also upgrade on sound if you look up the Beats range, and then you'll also get the IPX4 rating as well. But as a little package, I do think these are an attractive product. I think they're something that you can buy, use for everything, including your workouts as well as general use, and they'll pretty much satisfy you on all fronts. There are certainly some trade-offs made here to get the buds out there at this price, but as long as you're aware of them and know they're not going to bother you, then I think you are going to get a pretty solid set of headphones for running and general use with the Solo Buds. Alright, that's our review of the Beats Solo Buds. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Please like and subscribe, ring the little bell, and we'll see you next time.